and we're going to be talking about the morning message tonight. Our last time that we were live, we talked about Mother's Day gifts, and you can see that all of these broadcasts are recorded so that you can watch them again right here on the Pre-K Pages Facebook page at your convenience. So if you missed our Mother's Day broadcast, just go back. You can find it if you're on desktop. There's a videos tab there along the left side of your screen, and you can just go over there, and I have a whole playlist of all of our past broadcasts right there for you. So if you missed the Mother's Day broadcast, you can certainly go back and watch that now. Wisconsin, New Jersey. Hey, Devaney. See familiar faces. Oh, I'm so glad you like the Mother's Day ideas, TJ. I am so glad. Barbados. All right. Yes, I think you were here last time, Kim. If not, you have friends in the area who have joined us before. Missouri, Arkansas, and Ohio. Yay. All right. I thought maybe I'd start off with a few announcements since we do have some folks here tonight. I wanted to let you know that in the last broadcast, excuse my hands, my red marker just exploded all over me a little while ago. I wanted to let you know that I did finish the Mother's Day packet. So I shared that I have this new VIP tea, an alternative to Mother's Day product that I was working on with all kinds of great ideas. You can look at the sneak peek that's in the last video that I did, the Mother's Day video. I just finished it today. It'll be ready to go up on the website tomorrow. So if you subscribe, there should be a subscribe link here in the comments. And if you subscribe to my updates, you'll get a direct link to the product on my website. So if you want to grab it for Mother's Day, if that's something you're interested in, obviously you don't have to, but if you're interested in that, subscribe, and then you can get a link to that tomorrow. As soon as it's ready, hot off the press, I will send that link to you. I'm so glad you enjoy the topics, Pat, and I'm so excited that as of this moment, I don't think the comments have frozen. I noticed that our last broadcast was seamless with no dropping out on my end. So I was really excited, and now I have comments are coming in nice and easy. So I think they're working out some of the bugs over at Facebook. So yay, I would love to be able to see all your comments. One quick little thing I wanted to show you. One of the things I really loved about our last broadcast was all of the interaction from you all. It was enormous. The support that you gave each other and me was just amazing. And so we had some really cool, and I have my iPad here, that's why I'm looking down. We had some really cool things that were shared in the comments of that one. And I love when I find new to me ideas that I've never heard of, because I'm a dinosaur and I've been around forever. And I thought I've heard of everything. But this idea was shared in the comments. And I'm sorry I didn't grab the person's name. But this is a Mother's Day idea that she shared with us. So if you want to go back to that broadcast, sorry, it's reflecting. If you want to go back to that broadcast on Mother's Day, you can check out the pictures she posted in the comments. Basically, the idea is that you take a white candle and you let the kids draw on wax paper. It's from you, Ashley West. Yay! Thank you for sharing. If you're having any kind of connectivity issues, refresh your browser, because our connection here tonight is very strong. So your connection is going to depend on how strong your access to the internet is, whether you're on Wi-Fi or if you're looking on a desktop or whatever, or mobile. So this is from Ashley, and this is an awesome idea that I've never seen before. It's a white candle. The kids can draw on wax paper, and Ashley, you feel free. Yes, that's a candle. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley, because I haven't done this yet, but I saw it and I was like, yay! So Ashley shared this during our last broadcast, and it's a white candle. The kids color on wax paper. She puts it around the candle and then holds a hair dryer to it. And then the images that the kids have drawn will stick to the outside of the candle. How cool is that? That is super cool. Maria wants you to post it again, Ashley, pretty please. So if you want to post that picture again and in the idea, that'd be great. Maria would love to have that. Yes, that's a candle. So isn't that cool, Jen? I thought so too. There was another great idea posted in the comments last time. And I did not get to grab that picture, but it was a washer, one of those little round metal discs with a hole in the middle, from the home improvement store, and those are super, super, super cheap, like pennies. And then the teacher let the kids decorate them with nail polish, and then she strung them out on a string, a little thing to make a necklace for Mom. That was so, so, so cute. So those were shared in the last broadcast. So go back and watch that broadcast. Those were shared in the comments of the broadcast last time. Everything I said is on the screen, but in case you didn't catch those ideas, those really cool ideas in the comments, go back and do that. You've seen that before, Paula. Yeah, I've never seen it. Yes, try it for yourself, right? Are the markers used permanent or washable? Ashley might have to answer that question. That's a good one, though. Like I said, I haven't tried it. I just thought it was super cool. So anyway, we're going to get started now with our broadcast tonight, all about the morning message. And I'm going to try and pull up the screen here, just in case. It was permanent marker, says Ashley. Okay, guys, permanent marker. If you're having any kind of connectivity issues, just refresh your browser, and you should be able to clear those up. Again, that's going to depend on how strong your connection to the internet is. Okay, so let's get started with morning message. And this is a topic that I am very, very passionate about. So there's a blog post that I wrote about this a long time ago, like a really long time ago. And it was just my my philosophy on the way that I do this in my classroom. And it's become quite a thing because there's a lot of misinformation out there. So first, let's define what morning message is. And it's a rather long blog post, so I'm going to try and paraphrase. But it's an interactive thing. It's something that the kids are involved with. Because what do we know about those little kids in our classrooms? And when I'm talking about kids, this morning message thing I'm going to be talking about is not for 3s. This would be for 4s and 5s for sure, but not for 3s. With 3s, it's all about exploration. They have a very short attention span. Not that 4 and 5-year-olds don't have short attention spans, but it's not something they have enough attention span for. So we're talking about 4s and 5s. So the morning message it's an interactive thing when we're talking about pre-K and kindergarten. It's an interactive thing because we know that if they're sitting still, they're not getting it, so it has to be interactive. But unfortunately, it's one of those things that started in the older grades. I remember when I was student teaching, I had certainly heard of morning message, and when I started teaching pre-K, I heard this term being tossed out in relation to pre-K, and I was like, but that's something they do in the older grades, So what I did was I adapted it to work with little kids, and I made adaptations based on what we know through child development works best for little kids. So I didn't do what the 3rd grade teachers were doing, or 2nd grade, or 1st grade, or even the kindergarten teachers, because when you look at the development of children, those age groups are vastly different. So what they're able to do and what's best for them is completely different. What if you have 3s and 4s? That's tough. I've never taught mixed ages. I don't know how you all do it. It's very tough because they're apples to oranges, right? The skills a 3-year-old has are very, very different than the skills a 4-year-old has. So you would probably do this, Kia, in a small group with your 4s, and not all the kids at once. But basically, what a morning message is at the pre-K level, and I think what we get stuck on is the word or the term morning message. That's a term that's applied at the older grade levels. And so I think at the pre-K level, at the 4 and 5-year-old level, we can just call it time to write or news or whatever you want to call it, because that's more what it's about. But it's definitely not at the pre-K level. It's not pre-scripted. It's not something that you would write before the kids come in, because anything that you write without them being present is just gibberish. Like, they don't know what that is. Like, how did that get there? It magically just appeared on the board. If they don't see you doing it and they're not involved in the creation of it, it has absolutely no meaning to them. It looks like Chinese symbols to them. They can't read. So it's definitely not pre-scripted. And I think that's where the big misconceptions come in at the pre-K level, is that a lot of us are trying to do what the older grade teachers do, or sometimes what the people above us are telling us to do. And if they don't have a strong background in child development, then that message is not clear and it's not appropriate. So it's definitely not pre-scripted at the pre-K level. And, you might hear people out there saying that they do that. And that's their choice, but I don't believe in it, and that's not what I advocate for. So that's the most important thing, is that it's meaningful to the kids, it's written with them, with you creating the writing and them helping, and not pre-scripted. So it just magically appears if it's pre-scripted. So if you're spending time before school writing out messages, just stop. Save yourself some time. Okay. Filling in the blanks too, like filling in the blanks and finding mistakes in writing. And I have to credit my dear friend and my mentor, Sharon. And there's a million people named Sharon out there. So my Sharon, if you're watching, you know who you are. I don't think she's watching. She's very busy. She travels all around the country training teachers. But my mentor, Sharon, we had this discussion one time, and I was asking her why people were having kids fill in the blanks during morning message. Like, why are they doing that? What is the benefit of that? And her response was, it's a poor use of instructional time, because kids don't learn from mistakes and by filling in blanks. They learn about writing and how words and writing work by being engaged and interacting in the creation of the writing. So the filling in the blanks and finding mistakes in writing, that's something that maybe a third grader or something, I don't know how far up, they do that, but it's not something that's going to be a good use of instructional time at the 4-year-old level. So the morning message at the pre-K level should be fun. These are the 3 things. It needs to be fun. Okay, and I'm going to share some tools with you so that you can make yours fun. It needs to be meaningful. So if the print doesn't relate to the children that you are with at that moment when you're creating that text, then it's pointless. So it's wasted instructional time. And then it needs to be interactive. The kids have to be involved in the creation of the writing. Now, at the beginning of the year, their involvement is going to be limited to maybe giving you the words orally. And as they progress, then you can share the pen. The whole shared writing, interactive writing thing. This is kind of just like that. The kids are creating the text with you. So it has to be fun, it has to be meaningful, and it has to be interactive. Hey, Kim, my girl Kim is here. Woo! All right. I just had to say that. I love to see familiar faces here. Okay, so let me show you in just a minute some of the tools that you are going to be using to make your morning message fun. But I want to get to the why. Like, why would you want to do this? There's, in my mind, there's just so much stuff going on. It's like little hamsters are just going, where? There are a lot of different philosophies in early childhood. And let me just tell you that my philosophy is practical. It is to help teachers where they are in their particular situation. And it's not to advocate that everything out there is wrong in the education world. So I don't get into all that. But there is a great divide between people who think that, the kids should be free range, and then there's the people who work in the public school where, we have to adhere to all these regulations and these rules and these guidelines and strict stuff coming down at us from the top. And so I'm all about helping teachers in those situations. So, if you're thinking about doing a morning message, or you're being told you have to do a morning message, this is the information for you. If you're in a free range type of a situation and you have that kind of flexibility and you don't really have to adhere to all of these strict rules and regulations, then maybe it's not for you. But for me, in the public schools, this is what we were required to do. So why would you use a morning message? And this is what makes it so powerful. It's that kids need, when they're learning about print and that print has meaning, they need to see an adult actually physically going through the steps of writing. Because think about it, they get read to a lot at home, but how many times do they get to write with an adult, right? In that really supportive environment. You know, that's not something that they're going to get as often at home. So they need to see an adult think aloud and talk through the writing process, okay? And they're going to be making connections between written word and spoken word when you are writing the morning message. So you know how some kids at the beginning of pre-K, they don't really understand that these squiggly lines that we're drawing, these sticks and these balls and all that, that they have any type of meaning at all, right? So we're going to get them to understand that print has meaning. They're going to be making connections between the written word and the spoken word. What they say can be written. And because they are seeing you do it and you're talking aloud as you do it, that makes it meaningful to them. They're observing concepts of print in action. They're seeing the concepts of print as they happen. So for example, if you're writing, and I know this is a very small screen area, so I don't have my large chart paper with me, but if you were writing and you're starting over here and you're writing, you know, Layla is the leader today. Oh, I'm at the end of the line. What should I do? Should I go down here? Oh, I'm going to come back here and go this way. That was just a concept of print. I mean, they saw me as I was writing and holding the pen, and I have pens here somewhere. No, I have a bunch of Sharpies somewhere in this mess here. Here they are. So as you're writing, you know, they're seeing that happen. They're involved in that. And that's what's meaningful to them. So they're observing concepts of print firsthand. And these types of skills, seeing you write and think aloud as you do this, is going to help them be successful independent writers later, because print doesn't magically appear on the page. You know, when we're reading a book, the print just magically appears. It's already there. How did it get there? I don't know. You know, but when we're writing, they're really seeing the process. Thanks, Cynthia. I appreciate it. The comments are working really well tonight. It's hard to keep up, though. I'm glad you like it, Kia. All right. So we know that concepts of print. Now, concepts of print could be a whole. It could be a whole class. You know, it could be a series of classes. But when we talk about concepts of print, we're talking about left to right progression. We read in English from left to right. The return sweep, which is what I just showed you when you get to the end of the line and you come back. Okay, the return sweep, and you start back over here again on the right and you go to the left and you come back. It's like, you know, when you type, it kind of comes back on the page. Print carries meaning. These squiggly lines mean something. In one-to-one correspondence, that each word has a separate meaning. So we're talking about morning message tonight. If you're just joining us, I'm Vanessa Levin from Pre-K Pages, and if you are just joining us, this broadcast will be available for you to view from the beginning as soon as we're done with the live broadcast tonight. All right? So, a sample of the morning message. I was going to go through that and write one with you on this little piece of paper, and we're going to pretend that it's chart paper, okay? So we'll get to that in just a minute. So, I told you that it needed to be fun, it needs to be interactive, and it needs to be meaningful. So one of the ways that we can make it meaningful is to use kids' names and let them tell you what you're going to write about. So, because they're going to remember that more than anything I say. So in the beginning of the year, I might say, you know, I might choose a child and I might say, let's pretend it's Layla. And she's the child I used in the blog post that's coming in the comments here. So I'll just use her as an example. And let me just tell you, Layla's probably like in middle school now. But anyway, so let's say it's Layla. And I say, Layla, can you tell us something that you like to eat? And maybe Layla says pizza. So now I've got my chart paper. We're going to pretend this is my chart paper, something large, you know, that all the kids can see, whether you're in a large or small group. And Layla says pizza. So I'm going to write, and it's hard for me to do this on the screen because now I'm seeing myself backwards, but I'll try. So I'm going to write Layla. I'm going to start right here with Layla. Do you know your first letter, Layla? Layla, that's an L. It's the beginning of the year. She might not. E-Y-L-A. Now they have a very short attention span. And you have to have a timer in your head because if you take too long to write this, they're going to be done. So anytime your eyes are off them, that means you're gone, right? They're in the class alone. So I'm going to be looking this way and engaging them. Layla likes, can you still see that? Layla likes pizza. Oh, and I don't have any more room right here. Look, I just have a little bit of room. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to write pizza. And now remember, this is the beginning of the year, so I'm not getting really in depth into letter sounds or even letter ID. Layla likes pizza. The end. Oh, and I'm going to draw a picture of pizza right here because I love pizza. Layla likes pizza. Okay, so that's like super beginning of the year. They have a very short attention span. The end. And now, okay, so it's meaningful, right? Layla is the child that I just asked. She told me something she likes. I drew a picture of it. Sometimes I'll draw a little picture of them. They think that's hilarious, right? Now we're going to make it fun. So we just made it meaningful by using their name, and now we're going to make it fun. And I'm going to say, oh, Layla likes pizza. And of course the other kids are like, and I like tacos, and I like this and that. Oh, yes. And maybe I'll ask you what you like tomorrow. Now we want to read this. Okay, so this is going to be their first introduction, their first formal introduction to the concept of print, maybe the left to right directionality. Now, if this was chart paper, this would all fit on one line, and that would be better because I probably wouldn't introduce a return sweep that early in the year. So I'm going to invite somebody else up. I wonder who can read this for me. And they'll usually say, I can't read. I'm just in pre-K. I'm only 4. And some kids will be like, I can read it. So I pick somebody to come up and I introduce these props one at a time. So let's pretend maybe they've already been introduced to these props. I let them choose from glasses. These are just cheap kids' sunglasses without the lenses in them. So I've got some of these they can choose from. I've got the microphone. I've never met a kid who doesn't like the microphone, okay? I've got that. And I've also got some fun pointers they can choose. These finger pointers are great. I love these. I think there's a link to these coming in the comments. But so there's a finger pointer. I'm going to let them choose what props they want to use. Now, usually they try to choose like all 3, and then they realize they don't have like enough hands to do all of that. So I try to let them choose 1 or 2 props only. So maybe someone comes up, Jason comes up, and he probably needs me to hold his hand, and I say, Jason, let's read this together. And he'll say, Layla likes pizza. And I say, oh, let's try it again. Layla likes pizza. I just did that backwards. That was just amazing, you guys. I can't believe I did that backwards. And so you're going to slide the pointer. You can hold his hand and slide the pointer along as you go. Yay, Jason! You can read. Let's clap for Jason. Everyone give Jason a round of applause, and we'll do the whole round of applause. You can do some of Dr. Jean's cheers, whatever you want to do, but make it short because now the other kids all want to turn, and you don't have time for every kid, but you might let someone else. Yeah, this could be like this isn't particularly a shared reading, but this is kind of a morning message. And if you want to go back and view this broadcast from the beginning, as soon as we're done, it will be available to you. Your morning message should be very, very short because the attention spans of 4 and 5-year-olds are very, very short. So, you know, I'm talking you through this as we go, but we could probably, at the beginning of the year, be done by now, okay? So I ask Layla what she likes. She tells me. I write it out. I didn't take a long time. It's very short. I called someone up to read it, okay? So I might call one other kid, and then we're done. That's the beginning of the year. If you're having any connectivity issues, just remember to refresh your browser and come right back. And that connection is going to depend on how strong your connection is to the internet where you are. Okay, so that was like a beginning of the year, and later in the year I might add maybe another sentence, and you can, at the blog post, there's a whole blog post about this. I get more in depth about what it looks like at the beginning, in the middle of the year. So as my kids grow, as their attention spans grow, this session, this time frame can be, become a little bit longer, but their attention spans are very, 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 very short. Now these become artifacts in the classroom because I don't just want to do this and then throw it away. I want to keep these. So a couple of things I've done. You can use them on the wall. You put them on the wall around the room, and then during center time, here's another fun pointer. They can get pointers out and they can read them because they start to recognize their friends' names really quickly. Okay, so off-topic questions I'll have to come back and answer later because I have to stick to topic on this one because this one's probably going to run a lot longer than usual. So anyway, fun pointers. I can use these as artifacts in the classroom. You can put them on the wall. I have done these on the overhead before, on an LCD or if you have the regular overhead, and then I put these into books. I just 3-hole punch them and put them into a notebook. If you do it on a smaller scale with an LCD projector, in an Elmo or a document cam. And then they have another class book, and I add a page each day. They learn their names really, really quick. So by the end of the first month, half the class can, quote unquote, read these sentences because they're only 3 words long. Layla, and they recognize their friend's name, so they got that one. And then it's likes, and then it's their favorite food with the picture. So there's a picture cue. So they can always read these, and they build confidence when they do this. I'm modeling the left to right progression, the spaces here. I didn't actually address that, but that's something they saw me do. The return sweep. They saw all of that. So they're getting all of those concepts of print, the kids who are ready for that. Just understanding that print has meaning. Those kids who need that, they're getting that. It's meaningful, it's fun, it's interactive. So we're going to use props to make it fun. And they love to hold the microphone and then hold a pointer. And if I need to help them, I will. I'll say, can I help you hold that pointer? And because I want to be modeling the progression, the left to right progression, the sweeping under the words, the return sweep and all that. I want to be modeling those really good literacy skills like that. Where do you get that dinosaur pointer? Dollar Tree. Not every day, though. They just have them sometimes. And Amazon does have everything. I don't know what this one's called. Grabber or pincher. It's called Dinosaur Grabber / Pincher. And so it actually has another function. It goes like this. So maybe this isn't the best choice, but I had him around and I know they would love him. These finger pointers are my traditional, and then I have tons and tons of other pointers that I let them choose from. I have batons and magic wands and all kinds of stuff. I have pointers with little stars on the end and all kinds of stuff. So I have a little bucket and they can choose them. And usually what I'll say is 1, 2, 3, that's the one for me, because they're going to sit there for an hour and try to pick their pointer, and we have 2 minutes for this. So yes, I did move to Wednesdays. No problem, Patsy. This will be available to you to watch on the replay from the beginning. Yes, a star of the week. I usually have a leader of the day, and that's the kid that gets to give the message, but then the other kids get to come up and interact with it. And I only have time for a few kids to come up and interact with it, but that's okay, because then I tell them, if you would like to read this all by yourself, it's going to be right here, and I show them where it's going to go. So if I'm putting it on the wall, of course, at a low level so they can reach it and see it, or if I'm putting these in a book, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to show them. If you want to read Layla's message, it'll be right here. And let me tell you, if they're involved in the creation of this message, they will read it. It's something that they flock to. They feel so proud, and they have a really great motivation to go and read it. So you'll see kids who don't like to read books or won't go to the classroom library reading the morning messages. So it's one of those little tricks that I use to kind of hook those reluctant kids into the whole thing. Can this be used for high scope? I'm not trained in high scope, so I can't answer that. Yeah, the green, these come in all different colors. These pointers come in all the primary colors. So, okay, so we talked about, we did a little example. How often do you rotate them on the wall? When my wall is full, I take them down and send them home and put more up. So, just whatever. Do you keep all the pages on the web? If there's room, like I might only have room for 4 at a time, so every 4th day I take them down and start again. It's up to you how you want to do it. And usually the parents will say, why did my kid bring this great big piece of chart paper home? And I'll explain to them. And the parents are like, they want me to put it on the refrigerator, but it's too big. So it's kind of funny. Okay, so all of that I just did is also available at that blog post that I talked about on my blog at prekpages.com. So we talked about sharing the pen. It would be the next stage. So as the kids' attention spans grow from the beginning of the year closer towards the middle, now I might have somebody come up and share the pen with me, right? So if I had asked Layla to come up and, she was telling me she likes pizza, then I might have her write her name. And if she needs help, with the teacher's support and guidance, if she needs help, I'm there to do that. And then sometimes, if you're doing this consistently every day, I'm sure somebody in the comments has asked, how often do you do this? Now, I have done it every single day, and that's when you're going to see the most success. Now, I know some of you work in settings where you only see your kids a couple times a week, and that's going to be difficult. It's really hard to establish consistency if you only see your kids a couple times a week, but that's okay. You have to do what you have to do, right? So I just say I like to do it every day. It takes just a few minutes. You're modeling all the really good, meaty stuff of early literacy and emergent writing to them. You're for them, with them. You're making it fun with all your props. You're making it meaningful by using their names. You're making it interactive by having them come up and use those props and be involved in the creation of the message. As their attention spans grow, sometimes we'll add something else to the message. So this one was about Layla. You can also change the colors of pens. So when it gets time for kids to come up and start interacting with this, I have a special color just for me, and the kids always write in another color. So that way we know that that's kid writing and that this is adult writing. And I did not use my best penmanship here because I was trying to fit into a small space. So we might share the pen. So maybe Layla would come up and she would help me write her name or something like that. And then maybe later in the year we might add another line. So I might say something like, Layla, is there anything happening today that we should let people know about? This is our news. This is our message to the world. And, there's different things that happen every day. Like maybe it's raining, or maybe we're going to go to the park later, or maybe, whatever. So we might say, we're going to the park, okay? If the child says something random, I will latch onto that. So let's say I say, Layla, what do you like to eat? And she says, I have a puppy. I say, oh, you have a puppy. That's good news. We should share it with the world. Layla has a puppy. That's okay, because it's meaningful to Layla. If I ask her what she likes to eat and she doesn't answer me with that, she gives me something else, well, that's what's meaningful to her. And of course, kids are kids, so sometimes they say inappropriate stuff, about what happened at home last night. And I say, oh, I'm not sure that's something we want to share with the world. That might be something that we can talk about in private later, but we're going to share something that we can share with the world right now, right? Hey, Melissa. Read and recovery, yes. All of my mentors, all of the people who I worked with when I was a new teacher, were all reading recovery trained. The lady that I mentioned earlier, Sharon, who is my dear close friend and mentor, they're all reading recovery trained. So a lot of these philosophies kind of stem from the reading recovery method. But because reading recovery was not geared for pre-K, I've adapted some of these down. I have a whole blog post on writing and journaling. So that's a great topic for another one. And the topic, the question about kids interrupting, that's a whole other broadcast, right? They get used to, if you were constantly, they're not sitting and listening to me talk at them for very long. This is a very, very short thing that's going on. So if we keep it short and appropriate to their attention span, I mean, it seems so quick that you're thinking, how could they possibly get anything out of this? It does work. Okay. And I'm so glad the comments aren't frozen this time, but it really, really gets me off track. So I will go back and I promise and I will read all of these comments that are coming through so fast. I just don't want to keep all of you too long. Okay, so how do you keep their attention? That's one question that's come through a lot. Wiki sticks are another thing. Oh, that's what I forgot to show you. We might, at some point, when the kids are ready, when they've shown me that they can remain engaged for a little bit longer, we might actually start using wiki sticks and other fun tools, and I think there's a link coming to those in the comments. But wiki sticks are wax strings, if you're not familiar with them. And so let's say we just wrote this message again. And I might say, can anyone find an L in this message? I have a wiki stick here. And they might come up and, they might place it here. And I'm saying, oh, you know what? That's a good try. That's the letter E. It goes out, up, and around. Let's look for the letter L, and I'll draw it down here. I'll draw a big old L right here. This is what L looks like. And hopefully they come back and they find this one. I can help them if they need to. Oh, there's the L. Look at that. I wonder if there's another L in this message. And somebody will say, no, I don't see that. And I say, oh, but you know what? Every letter has two kinds. There's a lowercase one in here, and I'll write the lowercase L there, and we might come and look for the lowercase L. We might count the L's. It depends on their attention span on how they're doing. But as we do this, I'm inviting kids to come up. And what's happening is that the other kids are seeing their friends come to the front. Now their attention is drawn. Their friend is moving. What's my friend doing? I want to see what my friend's doing. Oh, look, he's putting a circle over that thing there. What's that? She just said that's an L. So they're engaged. They're interacting and they're engaged. So we might use wiki sticks. Another thing we use, and I couldn't find mine tonight, but there's a link in the comments, is this white Post-it tape. It is awesome. So if a child makes a mistake, of course, you don't want to scold them or anything. It's, let's try that again. The P goes down and around. That's okay. I have some Post-it tape, and we put it right over the top, and then we'll try it again. So that we don't have to stop and start over or worry about, Xing anything out. And let me just tell you, they love Post-it tape. Oh my word. It's like you invented gold or something. And they get to put the sticky tape over the thing. They love it. So anytime I make a mistake, and I quite often do because I'm talking through the process, I'm talking about each letter. So sometimes I can't think and write at the same time. And I let them, I shows them that everyone makes mistakes, because you know how some kids are so perfectionist. So we have the white Post-it tape. And usually I'll just say, oh, everybody makes mistakes, even Mrs. Levin. And then I'll put the Post-it tape over that, and we'll just draw right over that. They love that, to show them that you can correct things. So we're using props like wiki sticks, the microphone, the sunglasses with the lenses punched out, the correction tape, the pointers, pom-poms. I love to use cheerleader pom-poms. And so like if someone comes up and they use the pointer and they read this or the microphone, and we'll say, hooray, hooray, hooray for Jason. He's a good reader. Things like that. A magic wand. I have one of these types of finger pointers that makes a loop sound, like that turn the page sound, that magic sound. They love that. So they have to read it first successfully. When we get to the end, I let them go zoop. One time. They love that. I don't know where. I got it from a dollar store a long time ago. It takes like a AA battery or something. So those are some ideas for morning message. And I'll try to get to a few comments here. I'm so glad you learned a lot. Thank you very much, Laura. I appreciate that. Yes. Handwriting Without Tears now has a lowercase. Is that what somebody said? I don't know. I'm not Handwriting Without Tears trained, and I have never used it. So calendar, I have a page on my site all about like calendar, circle time stuff. Yeah, the oops tape is wonderful, isn't it, Becca? I do not subscribe to the Handwriting Without Tears philosophy, and I'm sure they're very nice people, and I'm sure their product is wonderful. But that's not something that I personally do. and that's all I want to say on that. Wiki sticks are great. Yes, check them out. They're fun. Kids love them. Yes, thank you, Nicole. I love how you guys are supporting each other because I can't address all the comments, but some of you are helping others. Thank you. Oops, thank you so very much. I'm glad you like it, Joyce. I'm glad you like it, Emma. She read the post this summer about morning message, and she's used it with her pre-Ks this year. Oh, yay, I'm so glad. That's wonderful news, Emma. Yay, Melissa, I'm so glad you're here. Thumbs up to that. I'm so glad that I can actually use the comments and actually hit thumbs up while I'm talking to you guys. That is super cool. At the end of the year, the message is going to be longer because their attention spans are longer. So we might add another line to that, whatever they're able to attend for. And if they're interested and engaged, then go for it. So I have had as many as 3 sentences some days, and some days, even at the end of the year, we might just get to 1 sentence. It just depends. There's always stuff happens in pre-K, right? Yes, thank you, Carmen. What do you move to after morning message? Well, we do it all year long because there's always something to be learned from watching adults write.
What's the next activity after that?
Oh, what's the next activity? Oh my, that would have to be another broadcast. The day is very long.
For instance, do you move to centers?
Yeah, you could do something active. You would do something active after this, something more active, something that would get them all up and moving right after this. So it's very short because you're going to stagger your activities throughout the day from more passive, where I was just having and engaging with, one kid at a time, and then something that's going to engage all the kids, whether it's song or movement or music or whatever it is, you're going to do something. You're always going to balance your active and your passive, your active and your passive, your active and your passive. Do you read a book or sing songs during morning message? This is just kind of a standalone little writing thing that we do really quick. You can also do it during small group. You can do it during center time. It's a little bit noisier then. But, this is just a small little snippet of something that I do. I mean, there's all other parts to my day. Yes, I have calendar and we have centers and we do it. This is just a teeny tiny little piece. Let's see what else. Constant interruptions. Yeah, raising their hands is kind of on the outs right now. I really think that kids should be expressing their ideas and should learn how to express their ideas and opinions in a constructive and meaningful way, because that's kind of where we're moving towards with all the national standards that we have now. And so raising their hands, it's going to be really hard at this level, and it's really not worth your time. Usually the best stuff comes from the kids who blurt anyway. So I don't do any of that stuff like, if they blurt out, you give them I don't know what they're called, like demerits, or I don't do any of that. Little kids have to be able to express themselves. If we're constantly telling them to stop expressing themselves, they will eventually stop, and we don't want that. So I don't worry about blurting, because usually what they have to say is going to be in some way, they're very excited about something. So let's take that and, we are having a little connectivity issue there. First one tonight. So if you're having any problems, just refresh your browser. We will come right back in just a moment. Maybe Facebook is telling me I'm talking too much. It's quite possible. Let me see. I'm so glad. Let's see. Oh, okay. That could be a whole broadcast. Danielian versus other methods of handwriting. I don't know how litigious the Danielian people are, so I might not be able to do that broadcast. Let's just say I'm not a fan. I have lots of reasons why, but because that's a brand name, I'm not sure that I would be allowed to speak negatively about them without repercussions. So let's avoid that one. But you can certainly message me privately. Is morning message how you start your day in your classroom? It's part of that. Yes, we always sing a good morning song. So I guess this broadcast is a great way for me to learn what you want to know more about. So we could do a whole broadcast in like a short circle time. So this is great. All your questions are really helping me narrow down what other topics we can talk about. But it is something we do in the beginning of our time together each day. It's not the only thing, but it is something we do. Would it be appropriate to have kids copy a message in a journal? I'm going to give that a one-word answer. And then I'm going to put it down as something we can talk about later, but the answer is no. I don't believe little kids should ever copy anything or be prompted to write anything. There is a time and a place for a prompt, and I don't think that place is in a pre-K classroom. They can certainly respond to a story that they've read with a drawing, but I don't believe in forcing them to ever write about anything. But that's a great topic for a broadcast. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Amanda. I'm glad I could answer your question. Thank you, Rhea. Can you show us your classroom? Now I'm getting error messages. I didn't give you a link to that one, Tom, but I know what I can do. On my website, on my blog, I have basically a classroom tour. Let me see if I can pull it up. So if you go to prekpages.com, I'm looking at my my iPad here because I thought I would pull it up and show it to you. There it is. So if you go to prekpages.com, there's learning centers right at the top of the page. And if you go to learning centers, you basically get a tour of my classroom. Let's see if I can show it on the screen. And we're posting it in the links too. And there it is. Okay, it's coming up now. Thank you for your patience. Yes, I see that link there. Let's see. I think we're using up like all of the possible bandwidth we can here at this house right now. So, Melissa's helping. Thank you, Melissa. Tell me how much I owe you when we're done. Okay, well, mine's not pulling. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yes, Melissa could probably run one of these on her own. No problem. She's a literacy guru. Check her website out at Melissa, is it Leach's Literacy? I think it's Leach's Literacy. Sorry, Melissa, I don't have it. URL memorized. Eek. That's what friends are for. Okay, so if you go to Pre-K Pages and you click on the little Learning Centers tab, okay, you can come down here and you can see all the different centers in the classroom. And if you click on one, there's Play-Doh. I love Play-Doh, don't you? You can go and you can see pictures.
The website is Leach Teach.
Leach Teach, thank you. Yay, Melissa, Leach Teach. There we go. So here you can see pictures of the Play-Doh Center and the tools I have. And so every center has pictures there at Pre-K Pages. So I'm glad. Oh, Melissa, you know it's true. We're going to start having like a girl fight right here. No, a girlfriend fight. Okay. Yeah. Whoop. Wrong side of the screen there. Sorry. Yeah, we're going through the things about the upper and the lowercase thing. I know it's a heated debate in early childhood. There's lots of controversy on it. But let me just tell you that this controversy didn't exist until Handwriting Without Tears came out. Like we didn't have, I've been on the internet since dinosaurs roamed the earth. I used to be really big on the chat rooms back in like 1999, you know. And we didn't have these debates back then about upper and lowercase until Handwriting Without Tears came out. And I tell you that, you know, all the kids I taught back then, where we learned both upper and lower, they're all successful now, you know. None of them were harmed in any way. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that that's a research-based rationale, but it's a very heated debate for a lot of people. So I'm not going to go there again. And I certainly think I'm sure the Handwriting Without Tears folks are lovely people. I don't know them. Okay, so I think we've talked as much as we can about morning message tonight, or at least I've talked as much as I can about morning message. But hey, I wanted to let you know that I'm Vanessa Levin from Pre-K Pages, and we are live every Monday and Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we talk about different topics on every broadcast. And I have been setting up events on the Facebook page, on my Pre-K Pages Facebook page, so that you can be notified of the topics of the broadcast that are coming up. And I wanted to let you know that if you're going to be at Frog Street Splash this summer, it's an awesome conference. I'll be speaking there. It's this July. It's here in Grapevine, Texas, and I think there's a link coming in the comments. So I'll be speaking there live. I speak there usually every year if I can, if I'm available. And it's a fantastic, rejuvenating experience. It's all about bringing joy into the classroom and into our lives as teachers. It's a wonderful, supportive place, and they have this fabulous banquet that comes with your registration on Friday night with live bands and prizes of cash and just fun stuff. If you were there last year, you might have seen me out on the dance floor for a few of my favorite songs, which is quite unusual. I don't usually do that, but super fun. Lots of great inspirational stuff going on at Frog Street Splash. Stick around. And I'll have more information on the blog coming up on how you can go to Frog Street Splash's Early Childhood Educational Conference this summer and see me and lots of other great speakers live. So I want to thank you all for coming. Remember, you can watch this live broadcast from the beginning. As soon as I'm done talking tonight, it'll be here. It lives here on the Pre-K Pages Facebook page. Yes, Melissa, you missed me dancing. I was dancing to that Taylor Swift song. What's that? Haters gonna hate. I don't know. But yes, that got me on the dance floor. I'm so glad that you enjoyed this. Thanks for coming, y'all. Have a good night. I will see you on Monday with our next topic. I might stop in and just real brief and pop in with a couple of quick announcements over the next few days because I have tons of stuff that I want to share with you, but it won't be anything formal like this. It'll be just real quick. Okay? I'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot. Bye.